Hello friends, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel, I am going through my good midlife crisis where I am journeying through my 40s, working oh so hard to get my poop in a group. In order to do this, I have been working on my physical, my financial, and my mental health, and today's video is going to be a financial health check-in. Today, we are going to be closing out my September of 2023 budget. If you are familiar with my channel, you will know that I was on a low spend September challenge. So we are going to be seeing how I did. I was working with my friend, but I was doing this with my friend Liz over on Budget and Balance. So if you haven't checked out her closeout for September, make sure you go check out hers when you're done watching this video. We were both doing low spend September challenges. Because we both had very spendy Augusts. So I didn't actually originally close out my August budget because I didn't want to know how much I spent, but I did actually have to go back and close out my August budget in order to close out my September budget. So I did both of those last night. Actually had to close out both July and August in order to close out September. So I'm sorry, I didn't have videos for those. I guess I didn't close them out. So this is a long overdue closeout video because I haven't closed out of budget in a while. Also, I am working with my new ring light, so I am sorry if this is shaky. It's also a little bit of a different angle than we're used to, so please bear with me as I get used to this. So let's see how I did. My goal, I had goals. I was going to research new software for editing videos and making thumbnails. Score, did that. I did get new software for both of those things. For the most part, I liked my new software. I do like Canva. I have been told about that. I do like that. Replaced Adobe Acrobat. I do still really love Adobe Acrobat, but Canva is free, so that is saving me a lot of money. And then I switched to something Power Suite Pro. I have the name and I will tell you the name. I will insert the name here so you can see it. And I will say 95% love the, okay, 90%. I will say I 90% really like this software. The one drawback to the editing software is for the screen capture. And I do a lot of YNAB videos and where I do like record myself and a screen capture, and I can't see myself. And if you watched my YNAB video budget with me from 2 weeks ago, you will see me have, I'm not even going to say it was a mini mental breakdown, it was like a full-on meltdown on camera because I could not figure it out. Turns out you can't do it. It's not just me not being able to figure it out. You can't see what the webcam is capturing. It is showing it, but you can't see it. And that is a huge design flaw. I do not have any idea why they think you wouldn't want to see that. Because and then last week's video, I was fully aware of this, but I forgot that, that I hadn't paused and put myself up into the corner like I normally do. And so I almost started budgeting out with myself, like blocking the whole screen. So I almost did my whole budget video where nobody could see my budget because I was blocking the screen. So it's a huge flaw. It's a giant flaw. But other than that, I really actually do like the functionality of the software, and I do like it. So if they could figure out how to fix that, I think this would be a really good software. I like all of the additional features and additional softwares that it comes with. It comes with photo editing and screen grab and a whole bunch of different softwares, like it's Power Suite. Oh, I almost had it. Cyber something Power Suite 365 is what it's called. I'll find it all and put it on the screen. Anyway, I did reach that. Get my weight under 265. Absolutely did that. I ended the month at 259.8 last Wednesday. So my weight, for some reason this month, yes, my body broke through that plateau. I lost weight this month, so that was awesome. And originally, before I had decided to do a low spend September challenge with Liz, I was challenging myself to eat at home 5 days a week. I did do that because I was doing a low spend challenge, so I did meet all of my goals for the month of September. And I had 15 no spend days. I'd have to look back, but I'm pretty sure that's a record for me, y'all. That's amazing for me. So I am very happy with the way my September went. So I am going to flip us into the first week of September and we will see how everything went. For week 1, I did receive my paycheck. I didn't roll over as much money as I was anticipating. From August, I had only rolled over, from August, I only rolled over $403.76, and then I had $3.29 of cash back, giving me a total income of $2,125.19. My rent was almost exactly what I thought it would be at $595.36. My mom's insurance came out, my Geico bill, Aflac, YouTube Premium, and Adobe Express all hit as exactly what I thought they would be. Looks like YouTube Premium was 14 cents more. For a bill total of $997.35, leaving me $1,127.84. Dining out. So I was doing a low spend challenge, which means I was trying not to dine out. I was allowing myself to dine out once a week. I was not including if I went out for a meal after church because that came out of ecclesial expensive. Groceries, I was trying to stick to my budget. And then for gas, I was putting the money into gas, but I was trying not to spend it. For some reason, gas is all the way down here. So those are the 3 ones, but I filled them every week. I just left them in here if I didn't spend them. So you will see the money go in here, and then at the end of the month, I moved it into a savings, into my savings category. You won't see that here. You'll have to check out my YNAB video, my first week of October YNAB video to see how much money I ended up saving. I cannot remember. It was $240 something out of those 3 categories because I did not track it here. I do all of my actual spending and tracking and things like that in YNAB because I am a digital spender. I don't do cash spending. I do digital spending. But this is how much money I spent, and I will get a total of how much I actually did save for the month. It just won't be in specific categories. So anyway, I put 50 into dining out, 100 into groceries, 10 into fun, my ecclesial expenses, $53.98. That's just because when I went to lunch, I didn't spend the full 60. Pet expenses, that is for my pets, it gets filled once a month. Household, 50, that's for things that are not food for my house, like toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, things like that. Budgeting, I use that to buy things like pens and stickers and things that for my budgeting. Giving, this was another category that I challenged myself to stick to. I did spend every penny, but I did not go over for the first time in a very long time. Self-care, that is kind of like a sinking fund. I can spend from it when I want to, but I put $25 every paycheck in. And then gas, I fill that every paycheck. For an envelope total of $513.98, leaving me $613.86. These are the stickers that I used for September. I just love these stickers. I get them from Life in Envelopes from her Etsy channel. My sinking funds here, I filled up just exactly as I had planned to. The only thing I didn't put in was car maintenance. I did not put that $50 in. I decided to wait on that one. So my sinking fund total was $300.42, leaving me $313.44. I did my two savings, and then the stuff I forgot to budget for is really, it's a monthly thing that I pull $20 out in cash. Well, I was doing it in cash. Now I'm kind of not doing it in cash. I'm leaving it in my budget. It's just where I pull if I need, it's kind of like my miscellaneous or oopsie or whatever category. It just doesn't really fit on any of the other lines because I don't have enough lines in my budget. So I just put it here because that's where I had a line. I do a 52-week savings challenge backwards and forwards, so it works out to $53 every paycheck. And then Baby Joe is my great nephew. I save $1 a week for him. That is, he's not quite 1. He'll be 1 on Halloween, so just in a couple of weeks he'll be 1 year old. I save $1 every week for him, so it's $2 every paycheck that I set aside. That's $75 total for this category, leaving me $238.44 to roll into week 2. I do roll from week to week and month to month because I am paid bi-weekly, but I budget weekly. So since I won't have a paycheck next week because I'm only paid bi-weekly, and I was paid this week, I have to roll money into my next week. Otherwise, I would have nothing to budget for the next week's bills and envelopes. So $238.44 rolling into week 2. Here's that $238.44. Then Seth paid me. Seth is a friend of mine who drives a car that I have financed. This car was a car that I purchased. Horrible financial decisions before I decided to get my poop in a group. I couldn't afford it. He took over payments because he is doing me a really big favor. He needed a car and I needed to not have a car at that time. So he took over payments. He pays me for his car payment and then his part of the car insurance. I got some cash back, and then I cashed out my Buy Me a Coffee. And thank you to those who contributed to my Buy Me a Coffee. I went shopping this past weekend, and I bought some clothes because I am also, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, on a health journey. And I am down over 40 pounds since the beginning of this health journey, and my clothes are starting to not fit me. So it was very, very nice to go shopping. I went with my bestie, and I picked up some clothes this weekend, and it was so much fun. So thank you for that contribution, and I really appreciate you very much. So $35.34 was brought into my budget from that. So that was an income total of $727.02. I covered some reimbursable. That is, I can't remember because it was a month ago, but probably groceries or something that I picked up for Nathan, $37.72. Nathan is my landlord/roommate. So if I pick something up, normally it comes off of what I owe him at the end of the month toward rent, but sometimes if it's really early in the month and I just don't want to leave it hanging out there as like an overspend, I'll just cover it instead of waiting till the end of the month. It all washes out at the end. That leaves me $690 to come down to my 4 envelopes that I fill every week. $50 to dining out, $100 to groceries, $10 to fun, and I only put $20 in ecclesial, which tells me I either went to Lampasas and only put $20 in here, or I already had $40 in cash from the previous week, because maybe I had taken out in cash. Again, it was a month ago, I can't remember, but I only ended up putting $20 into ecclesial expenses this week. That left me $180 to roll over. That was a $180 expense for that category, leaving me $510 to roll over. I didn't have any more expenses for this week, so somehow I was off 70 cents. I close out this budget every Thursday night so that on Friday mornings I can film my YNAB videos. I was off 70 cents somehow, so I actually had $509.30 to roll over. So I'm not sure where that was, but I rolled over $509.30. For week 3, which went from 9/15 to 9/21, I did receive my second paycheck of the month. I was anticipating Seth to pay me this week, but he paid me the previous week, so that didn't come. I rolled over that $509.30, and then I received $18.76 of cash back. This must mean that Venmo gave me cash back this week. Venmo is a credit card that I use, and they only give me cash back once a month. My other credit card that gives me cash back is my PayPal MasterCard, and that's every week, which is why it's normally just a couple of dollars. But Venmo, you can tell when they hit because that's a much higher number. So that is an inflow total of $2,246.26. The bills that I covered this week were my OneDrive, my Planet Fitness, which is my gym, Mattress Firm, which is my mattress, Waldo, which is my contacts. And I have had requests to talk about my Waldo contacts. I will try to talk about them on Friday's YNAB video because I actually have to get back to work right now. It took me a little while to get this ring light set up. But I will try to talk about them on Friday morning. That is my daily contact subscription. Again, I covered some reimbursable expenses, and then Capital One, for some reason, it was like, I have my cards all set to auto pay, but then I pay them every single Thursday when I close out my budgets because I use my cards like cash. But this just randomly happened to be that like the auto pay was on the same day as my day that I paid it, so it actually hit like auto paid and I paid it, so I had a credit on my account. And it was $23.55, but it did like charge me twice, so I had to cover that even though I'd already paid it. It just worked out that way. But then you'll see, like, I don't know if it's later this month or if it's in my next, this comes back into my budget I don't know how that worked out, but I don't know. Anyway, they charged me even though I had a $0 balance on the card. I was very confused. That's a bill total of $205.65, leaving me $2,040.55 to roll down. My 4 normal envelope totals: dining out, groceries, fun, and ecclesial. And then I had self-care and gasoline that I put in every paycheck. And then I actually did have to cover, I had a follow-up at my nutritionist, $70.06, and my HSA did not have that much money in the account because I actually ended up double paying my MRI bill this month or the previous month because I redid the finance plan. And when you redo the finance plan, they make you put, I forgot how much the down payment is. It's a percentage down. So I had to put another percentage down to get the finance plan redone, because when they submitted it to my insurance plan, it was like less than they were anticipating. So to get the payments down from like $170 to $80 a month, I had to redo another percentage down. So I paid it twice a month and in 1 month, and then that threw everything off. But anyway, I had to pay this, and so I had to add money to my medical fund. So instead of pulling it off of my HSA, I wasn't anticipating that. So that was a total for my envelopes of $356.36, leaving me $1,684.19 to pull up into my sinking funds. Again, because of that buy me a coffee, I put $20 into my clothing sinking fund. So thank you very much again for that. That is an envelope total of $20 for my sinking funds, leaving me $1,664.19. And then, again, every paycheck, I put $53 into my 52-week savings challenge and $2 toward my baby Joe. In just a couple of, in a month or possibly less, baby Joe's going to be a big brother, and then I'm going to have a baby Joe and a baby Jet savings fund. So this is going to go from $2 to $4. But for right now, this is what it is. So $55 for that, leaving me $1,609.19. Again, somewhere I was off 1 cent. So what I actually ended up rolling over was $1,609.18. I know that this is accurate because I do budget everything in YNAB, which is You Need a Budget. That's my digital tracking. And I know that that is accurate to the penny because I reconcile that, if not every day, every other day against my actual accounts. So I know that that is accurate. So this is what my balance says in YNAB, so I know that this was accurate. So this is what I rolled over, $1,609.18 into the 4th and final week of September. September week 4 went from $922 to $928. I rolled over $1,609.18. I got my very first YouTube check, so thank you to each and every single one of you for watching my ads and clicking on my videos and leaving me comments and liking them and subscribing. I love you, I appreciate you, and I am so, so thankful for you to be able to be paid for this, because this was something I was just doing for fun, and so I appreciate you so much. And then again, $4.16 in cash back just for my PayPal card. That is an income total of $1,739.47 for this week. I had bills due. Here's where that Capital One came back in. I have no idea. They charged me, and then it came back in because I couldn't make it balance, and I was like, that's just coming back in. My internet, my debt consolidation, my Cinemark. This is where I was paying $11.90, but then I decided to do an every other month membership for Cinemark instead of an every month. My water bill was due. This is where Seth's car payment were so ahead it only charged me $14.43. And my mom's cell phone, $61.01. That's a bill total of $406.41, leaving me $333.06 to pull down to my envelopes. My 4 regular envelopes: dining out, groceries, fun, and ecclesial, for an envelope total of $212.59. Again, I budget $60 every week, $40 for the donation and $20 for going out afterwards. If it's a weird number like this, it's because my meal afterward was not a full $20. So I had $40 and then $12.59 for my meal afterwards. That left me $1,120.47. I put $26.15 of that YouTube check in, just set it aside for taxes. So that left me $1,094.32 to pull down. Even though Seth's car is the minimum payment that is due is $269.85 every month. The previous minimum payment was $325.27 before we did the refinancing. So that's the minimum payment that we make. So even though they only auto debited $14.43, I made an additional payment of $310.84. We do that every month. That is why we're so ahead. So that was my extra debt payment. And then for the first time in at least a year, possibly longer, I was finally able to make an extra debt payment to my debt consolidation loan of $133. So that felt amazing. So that was $300 total toward my debt consolidation loan, which is not a lot, but it's finally something, and I'm very, very happy to have done that. So that is an extra debt payment total of $443.84, leaving me $650.48. And it was off by 50 cents, so $649.98. If you did watch my YouTube video, I did find that 50 cents. It was because I forgot to pull it out of Cinemark, because I had actually budgeted $7 here, but it was actually $6.48. So that I did find that when I was clearing out that, when I was doing my budget the next day. But for this purposes, it was $649.98. Now, I do want to show you really quickly, in case you found my channel when I was doing my the review of the Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck book for this year, because I know I mentioned that I print this, and I do. Here's my printed version. And I said I do not print the page where she does the cash envelope breakdown. And the next page that I use is the expense tracker. Here is my next page. This is how I do it. I print the expense tracker next. And so I write down everything that I spend on the next day. And so this is my next page, my expense tracker. And then I just write it down as I spend it. I use YNAB to go back, and I will write it out like a day or two later. Don't necessarily do it every single day. Because I know it's accurate, and I know I have it because I've used YNAB to do it. And then when I'm closing out my budget, either at the end of the week or at the end of the month, depending on when I'm doing it, normally at the end of the week, I'll come through and I'll add it all up, and I'll put a little checkbox next to it when I've added up all of my home. And then when I've double checked myself, I'll come back here and I'll highlight it as I've double checked it, and I'll highlight it in blue. And then when I've made sure the total adds, I'll highlight my total down here. And that's how I close out my budgets at the end of every week. And then at the end of the month, I'll add all of these pages together to get my totals for the month. So here is what I budgeted versus what I spent, and the difference of my monthly inflow. So you can see in home, I budgeted $1,663.36, and I only spent $1,366.96. So I actually spent almost $300 less for my home category. Now for me, my home category is my groceries. So I spent significantly less on groceries. It's also my rent, my gas. So I spent less. Rent obviously is not something I can control, but groceries and gas and utilities and household items and things like that. Some of that I can control, some of that I can't control. So I was able to keep that under control and spend $300 less than I budgeted in my low spend September. Giving, I budgeted $340. I only spent $204.63. So I spent $135.37 less than I budgeted. So I'm very happy with that. Fun, I budgeted $240. I spent $232.53. That was only under $7.47, but I'm still very happy with that. Subscriptions, I budgeted $47.71. I spent $41.08. I was under $6.63. Subscriptions, really, I went through in the last couple of months and I've cut out a lot of subscriptions. It's pretty much bare bones minimum right now of what I can do. You'll see in October is when a lot of my subscriptions renew, so it's going to be higher in October, but that's because my annual subscriptions are renewing in October. But for my monthly subscriptions, this is really all I can do. This $663 is only there because I cut my Cinemark down in half this month. Medical was higher because of that $70.06 that I had to put on my, I had to pay that instead of using my HSA. I budgeted $114.68. I spent $184.74. My debt was exactly as planned. I planned to spend $705.27 and I did. Previously budgeted, I planned to spend $75 and I spent $72.98, so $2.02 off. That's about what I planned. My mom's bills off by 78 cents, and that is because her cell phone bill randomly went down and I still haven't started calculating that correctly, but it is exactly what I thought. Here is where it's exciting. I planned to save $480.43 into my savings and my sinking funds. Because I did this, my low spend, I was able to save $738.47 this month, y'all. I'm so excited. So that is $258.04 more than I expected to be able to save because I did my low spend September challenge. And I only thought I would be able to roll over $598.95, and I was able to roll over $650.48 into my October budget, which I ended up needing to roll over more than I thought I was going to. So that's $51.48, which I had to when I redid my October budget because my mom's car insurance and my car insurance are both going up. So these two numbers combined right here equal what I was able to save. So I was very, very thankful to have done this September budget, September low spend challenge. So those are those numbers. Give me 1 second and we will look at September compared with August. Okay, so to compare August to September, my total income for August was $4,634.20, and for September was $4,354.83. I don't know exactly why there was that about $300 discrepancy. I can't remember what I did in August that I had more money, but I did. So it's $279.37 difference in my income that I had more in August than I had in September. So this is where you can see, if you use the Budget by Paycheck book by the Budget Mom, how you did from one month to the other. So in August, I spent $1,141.89 in my home category. Again, these categories you set up and you include whatever you want in them. So for me, again, home is whatever I spent on my home, my rent, my utilities, my groceries, my household, my pets, gas for my car, things like that. Giving is what I put in my church donation, what I buy for gifts, what I buy for, what I spend on, not my mom I categorize separately, but anything that I buy for somebody else. Fun would be, fun for me if I go to a movie, if I go out for dinner, if I go to a museum, if I go to a winery. I know I went to a winery in August. That's fun for me. Subscriptions would be, if it's an annual subscription, I pull it out of here. So like I know in October, like I mentioned, I have annual subscriptions, but then my non-medical, so like my Aflac, that's a medical, I pull that out of my medical. But my, what is a subscription? My mind just went blank and isn't, my HP Instant Ink, that's a subscription. My, movie, even though movies are fun, like my movie subscription, that's here. When I was doing Audible, that was a subscription. Things like that, those are subscriptions. Medical is anything related to medical. I consider my gym membership, that's medical. If I pay any medical bills, even though that's technically debt, I consider that medical. If I pick up any prescriptions or anything, that's all medical. If I take it out of my HSA, I don't include that money in my in my budget because that money comes out of my paycheck before it hits my budget. So if I use my HSA card, y'all don't see that. I don't track that in here. That is in my YNAB, but I don't include that in this budget. Debt would be anything that I am paying toward my debt consolidation, toward Seth's car, and toward my mattress firm. That's basically all that's in my debt because that's all the debt I have. Previously budgeted is if it comes out of a sinking fund or if it comes out of my self-care. That's basically it, if it's a sinking fund or self-care. Mom's bills are bills I pay for my mom, and then if it goes into a sinking fund or if it goes into like my emergency fund or my baby Joe or my other category. And then this is what I roll over into the next month. That's what those categories are for me. So now that I have gone into great detail that I didn't plan to, how many people are surprised? Nobody. Okay. So in August, I spent $1,141.89 in my home category, which was 24.64% of my total budget. In September, I spent $1,366.97, which was 31.39% of my budget. So I did spend more, $225.08 more, and I don't know why. It could be that some of my bills were higher. I know that I did not buy as much gas and I did not spend as much on groceries, so it must have been utility bills or rent was higher, and I don't know how that worked out, but that has to have been what it was. So that's that. Giving, here is where I spent a lot less. $919.63 in August. Man, I told y'all, this is why I needed to do a low spend September. Like, my August spending was just out of control. Giving, I spent $919.63, which was 19.84%, almost 20% of my entire monthly income for the month of August went to giving. Now, to be fair, I did go to my church camp. It was in July though, but I think part of that rolled into the August budget. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, almost 20% of my budget went to giving in August. Then in September, only $204.63 went to giving. Now, I know I only budget $100 for giving, but just keep in mind that this is also my church donation. So that's why that is higher than the $100 that I budget. So that was only 4.7%. That is a decrease of $715. That is awesome for me. Fun, I spent $321.25 in August, so that was 6.93% of my budget. In September, I reduced that to $232.53, so that was only 5.34% of my budget. Decreased that by $88.72. Subscriptions, again, this is not really going to change much from month to month. It did go down a little bit because I cut my Cinemark subscription. I did that to a bi-monthly membership, so it did go down slightly. $43.26, which was 0.93% of my budget for August, and then it was $41.08 in September, which was 0.94% of my budget. It's a very close percentage. Actually, it was more of a percentage, but that's because I had less income in September. So even though I spent less, it was a higher percentage of my income. I only decreased that by $2.18. Medical, I spent $156.90 in August for 3.39% of my total budget. In September, I spent $184.74, and that was 4.24% of my income. I increased that by $27.84. Again, that includes that doctor visit that I had to pay for. Debt was almost exactly the same, $704.72. In August, that was 15.16% of my income, and $705.27 in September, which was 16.2% of my income. And that was only an increase of $2.85. So debt is pretty much the same from month to month. Previously budgeted, here is a huge difference as well, keeping in mind that, again, I believe that a lot of what I spent was, ice ball as well. Oh, that's giving. That's what this is. This is ice ball. That's a lot of the previously budgeted and the ice ball. So previously budgeted, I used this to get I use self-care to get my nails done and to get my hair done for ice ball, and giving is because I did a donation to Ice Ball, which was the fundraiser that I went to for Big Brother Big Sister. That's what this is. I just remembered. If you are new and you're not sure what that was the fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Texas. And if you are new and you're not sure what that was, and if you are not new and you're looking for an update, I have an interview scheduled with them. They did my background check and everything. They are very, very thorough, which is awesome because this is, children. And I have an interview with them on the 25th, I believe. It's an hour and a half long interview, and they told me to be prepared to answer very uncomfortable, in-depth questions. And then after that, as long as everything goes well, I will have to go get fingerprinted. And then after that, they'll start looking for a match for me. So hopefully by the end of the year, as long as everything goes well, I should have a match. So we'll see, or at least be in the process of being matched. So that's where I am in that process. But I did go to the fundraiser in August. That's why I spent so much money on giving and previously budgeted. So previously budgeted $457.27, which was 9.87% of my budget. And then in September, I only spent $72.98, which was 1.68% of my budget. I decreased that by $384.29. Yeah. Mom's bills. I only paid one bill for her somehow, $96.67, which was 2.9% of my bill, of my income. And then in September, I paid $157.68, which was 3.62, which is an increase of $61.01, which is exactly the amount of her phone bill, which tells me I didn't pay her phone bill in August. Probably paid it just the way the dates worked. I probably paid it early, and I probably paid it twice in July. So in August, toward my savings and my sinking funds, I was able to put away $391.24, which was 8.44% of my income. But then in September, I was able to put away $738.47 toward my sinking funds and savings, which was 16.96% of my income. So almost 17% of my income was saved in September, and that is amazing. I'm super happy with that number. That is an increase of $347.23. From August to September, I rolled over $403.67, and from September into October, I rolled over $350.48. I have one more page for y'all, and then I promise that will be it. I know these videos get long, but I do like to go into some depth, but she actually gives us a lot more pages, and I don't use like half of them. So this is all the detail I want to go into. So give me 1 second to flip this page over. I don't always fill this page out, but this month I wanted to because I knew I had done a low savings, low spend challenge, and I wanted to see how much I was able to put toward debt and toward savings this month. So for my debt, my total monthly inflow, which is different from your total monthly income in the budget mom's mind. So in her mind, your inflow, let me go back a page, I could have saved you. Inflow is everything. So it's what you've rolled over from the previous month, all of the money that you earned, any other income, and any savings that you pulled into your budget. So I rolled over the $403.76 from August. This is my earned income, which I calculated as my 2 paychecks from work and then my money from YouTube. My other income, which is the money that I got from Seth, and then my cash back, and that's what I had. And if I had, like in August, where I pulled money in from my previously budgeted so I could get my hair cut and things like that, I would have pulled that in from savings used. All of that money would equal my inflow. Your income is only the money that you earned. You don't count any savings that you've been saving from previous months, or any other money that you might have gotten, like if somebody gave you money, or if like Seth pays me for something, that it's like a specific, he pays me for his car payment. It goes straight from Seth to the car payment. I don't use, that's not anything. I can't save that money. It's not money he's giving me to save. It's money he's giving me to pay a bill that he pays that's in my name. So I couldn't save that. So that's the difference between inflow and income in this book. So my inflow was $4,354.83. And I paid with that money $705.27 toward debt, which was 16.20% of my total, of my inflow went to debt. $325.27 of that went to Seth's car, which was 7.47% of this, of my total inflow. Mattress Firm, I paid $80, which was 1.84%, and my debt consolidation loan, again, for the very first time in like a year at least, I have made an extra debt payment, so $300 went to that, and that was 6.89% of my total monthly inflow went to pay my debt consolidation loan. If you add that all up, it's 16.20% went to my debt. And then September savings, so here is just my income, again, not my inflow, just my income, $3,951.07. So that's my 2 paychecks and my YouTube paycheck. Of that, $738.47 went into savings. I did not break down all of my sinking funds because I just didn't want to. But 18.69% of that went to savings. I put $250 toward my vacation fund. That is what I decided to do with the majority of what I saved from not dining out and saving money on my groceries and my gas. $250 of that went into my vacation fund, and that was 6.32% of my total monthly income. $106 went toward my 52-week savings challenge. That was $2.68. $4 went to Baby Joe, which was 0.10%. That's not very much money. And then sinking funds was the rest of it. It was $378.47, which was 9.58%. So that is 18.69% of my total monthly income went to savings. That is how I did for September with my low spend challenge. Did you do a low spend challenge with Liz and myself? If you did, how did it work for you? Were you able to save money? Are you rolling it into October? I know Liz is trying to roll it into October, and I think she's talking about doing it to the end of the month. September was all I could manage, and while I loved it, I have way too much going on this month, and then I know toward the end of the month, it's just not, I mean, the end of the year, it's just not going to work for me, but I am doing a new challenge where I am trying to eat most of my meals at home in the month of October. I am doing that with a friend of mine, Kay, who also has a channel, and I will link both Liz and Kay's channels below so you can check out those challenges. Let me know how you did in September and what you're doing in October. Thank you so much for being here, for checking this out, for letting me know how you're doing and what you're up to. I love you, I appreciate you, and I will talk to y'all later. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you are interested in following this or any of my other journeys, hit that subscribe button and come along with me. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.